Here's your host, Femi Kuti.
Okay. Yeah, my guest today has made impressive music, given trouble to governments, and impacted the lives of many. Join me in welcoming the legendary Femi Kuti. Welcome, sir. Welcome, bros. Whoa. We are so excited to have you here.
Thank you.
When like somebody like me now, that my parents, both of them, were not university graduates. As soon as I graduated from the university, I had surpassed their record academically. It's very easy. But imagine if your father is a prof and your mother is a prof and you are a student. It's a bigger challenge. So I'm looking at you thinking, the weight of expectation for you coming up as an artist,
yes,
knowing that your dad,
yes,
the legendary Fela Kuti,
yes,
the kind of big shoes, oversized shoes that he had left.
yes.
How was that weight, please? I just want to understand how he felt.
Since you are feeling very funny, I'm taller than my father.
One, so you.
No, and my shoe size are much bigger than his.
So already from day one, you were already leading. That means from day one, you were leading on points.
Yes. But on a serious note, I didn't have a problem with this. I love my father. I mean, beyond words cannot describe the respect and adoration I had for my father. And so it wasn't. When people were saying feel the shoes, growing up I could never understand where they were coming from. Because I truly wanted to play music, and my problem was when, how. I never had the privilege to go to finish school or study music. So everything I have learned musically, self-taught. People don't believe this, but it's a fact.
Wow.
Self-taught. To even prove this fact, because many people, the trumpet was my first instrument. I started at 8. So my father gave me the trumpet, and his cousin started to teach me at 8. And but I tried to clean it and spoiled it. So I never played it again. Then my father moved to the saxophone. So my eldest son at 3 picked up the trumpet, and he gave me the courage to go back to the trumpet. And I've now been playing the trumpet for 18 years. So I just bought a trumpet tutor and taught myself the trumpet again. So now I play the trumpet myself.
Oh, interesting. Now we're going to touch on the musical aspect of it, because you're a man of many parts. But 2019 is upon us.
Yes.
And the political atmosphere is becoming a bit more charged. What could be the best positive outcome for Nigeria come 2019 in your own experience?
There's nothing better than peace,
okay,
no matter what. So I'm sure many people will want a revolution, but I would hate Nigeria to go like Congo, Somalia. But really, when you see the political scene, you should not be surprised if the people are overcharged. The corruption has completely destroyed this country. And it's sad that young people don't have a future. And you cannot point to any sector in this country that is doing well. And for Nigeria, being this supposed to be great nation, biggest black country, blah, 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 we should be setting the standards. There is no reason why Africa should not be the envy of the world. We have everything. Sure. And what is so sure we have is we have the brains. So what is stopping our progression? But then, you have to blame government for everything, because if government does not motivate its people, then government is to be blamed. When you have, if the people are not well educated, it's government's fault. If hospitals don't function, it's government's fault. So government must take the blame for Nigeria's problem today.
If people are not well led, then we'll blame the leader.
Yes.
Okay. I want to totally agree with your submission on that one. But everybody if you ask 100 people about the problem of Nigeria, I'm sure 99 will include corruption. And yes, it was on that strength that this administration came into being.
Yes.
Are you impressed with how they are? Are you satisfied with how they are fighting this corruption?
No, definitely not. How can anybody be impressed? How can anybody be impressed? I have a new song I'm writing. You can't fight corruption with corruption.
I can feel that already. I can feel that. All right, we are not just talking to a musician here, we're also talking to an activist. So please don't even move. We are going to talk activism when we return. Welcome back. Welcome back to the other news. My conversation with the phenomenal Femi Kuti continues. Bros, yes, we were talking about activism. Yes. You will discover that in recent time, activism in the music industry looks like it's kind of going down. Is it that people are tired of hearing about our problems, that musicians have decided to say, you know what, we're not going to talk about problems, let's just party? Because it looks to me that most of the music that we hear these days is talking about enjoying this life. Is it that we are tired?
We have to enjoy this life now.
Yes. Is it that we are tired?
No, but we have to enjoy this life.
Yes.
If you don't enjoy your life, you are failed as a being.
Yeah.
So we have to enjoy this life. And I think the great thing about it is we do find, with all our problems, we do find time to dance, to party, and this is what government should capitalize on, because we are good. At the end of the day, we can be a good people. We can be a great, and these are all the visibilities that you see.
Yeah.
Now, I would not want to call myself an activist. I don't even like the name.
Okay.
I think we use too many big English words to destabilize our minds. I would just say I am a concerned person. Like all of us should be concerned. If we see the way our country is going down, doctors must be concerned. So if you use your profession to talk about you don't have good health services, shouldn't make you an activist. I think these are words that it makes you sound like military, in a militarized way, but negative. For me, it sounds negative.
It has been used so often that
it doesn't. For me, it doesn't.
So let's just say we are concerned Nigerians.
Yes, I know. I don't know. Some people like the name activist, so I would say I am concerned. So you can put me as concerned.
Okay.
Yes.
As a concerned Nigerian.
African, probably.
Okay, yeah,
or
African.
Concerned human being.
Yes.
Concerned human, because right now, because I've been fortunate to travel globally, so my new album, One People, One World, I don't see racism. We need to understand we are on one planet, and we have to make this planet work. So whatever happens in Holland, England, or America, or Chile, or Congo, wherever, must be of all our concerns. That's how we should be. Education must make us concerned. But education brings all these barriers, ethnic barriers, religious barriers, racist barriers. And I think we need, as human beings, to be above all this.
Okay, so thank you. So as a concerned Nigerian African human being.
You are now labeling, we are putting all this label. Just say concerned human being. You
okay.
now put Nigeria. You will now say Yoruba man from the New Africa Shrine. Concerned human being.
As a concerned person.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. And like I said, there was a time in this part of the world when even Nigerian music was used to fight apartheid.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm saying now that people seem not to be bothered anymore about that.
I won't say they are not bothered. I think they're finding a way to make a living. And do you blame the musicians? What about people dancing to the music?
Okay.
I'm sure you two dance to it. For instance, may I ask you?
You're defending your constituency.
I'm not defending it.
Yeah.
Do you like the song Jaye Jaye?
That's a good song.
There are many good songs.
There are many good songs. Yeah.
If everybody was politically outspoken, probably we'll all be weeping and crying, and there will be so much violence, and we'll be overcharged. So if somebody sings about, let me give you an example. You know this song, I just called to say I love you.
Yes.
Many
yes.
of us have used it to chase our girlfriends.
Yes, at one point.
Why Fela was singing No Light, Suffer, Suffer for World. Stevie Wonder was singing. Yes. I just called. Yes. And many of us, even despite we were living in poverty, we had no electricity, bad roads, education was already crumbling. We still use those words of Stevie Wonder.
Okay, now that you brought up Fela's Suffer, Suffer for World, Amen,
Yes.
Joy for Heaven, looking at his music and his message,
yes,
and looking at yours, is there any difference?
There is a big difference, but there is no difference as well.
Okay.
The difference is you have to look at the times my father was talking and why he was talking, how he started to talk.
I don't see any change between that time and now, though, in terms of the things that are happening.
You have to feel, why did he even start talking? He came from America, and he had read books on Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and he came with this big dream that, wow, he can make things happen, and he said to talk. And then he got his first police raid. Yeah. Then this made him now completely change. Where he was like more positive in his outlook, he now saw the negativity of government and police brutality, and then the burning of his house, the killing of his mother. So this now made him completely, should I say, wild or very angry. So you cannot now expect me to have his venom or anger. My anger will be completely different.
Will be Femi's venom.
Yes, it has to. I cannot. There is no way I can. The beatings he got, practically every single bone on his body was broken.
And you are probably avoiding that beating.
No, I'm not. How can I? No, you can't say that. First of all, at my age, when he took his mother's coffin to the Dam Barracks, I was there. I was there in the house several times. The police came beating. So I have taken my fair share. I cannot say it is as bad as his own. No, so you see, when people are talking, blah blah blah, they don't know my history. They don't even know. Young people talk about Fela. They don't even know him. They never saw him. They saw the latter period on TV of this man. I knew him before he was
fantastic.
I knew him from Femi Kuti when we had no food on the table. Good. Before he became famous in 1970 with his hit track Jenkoku. So when people saw, I don't even.
In fact, you just preempted my next question because I was going to ask you.
You didn't even let me finish now.
Okay. I don't want to forget it.
Yeah. Write it down now. See paper.
I don't want to forget it. Go ahead.
So before the first police raid, why he took me out of school. It took me. I was used as a tool of protest because then General Obasanjo put soldiers in school to flog students, and my father withdrew me out of school. Though I was a very willing participant, because I would have failed my exam. So I was. Well, say, we are taking out a protest of other students. Yes, I'm ready to go. Yes, take me out of school. So, but my life has always been in this chaos of defending my father and all this. So when you don't know what I've been through, personally speaking, and you now start comparing, that person is completely naive. Then let's even go to recent history, the building of the shrine. When the police were raiding the shrine, from the interception, from when we built the shrine, for a good 8 years, the police were stopping us from performing at the shrine. Where was everybody coming to defend us at the shrine? Nobody came to our defense. The last raid in the shrine was in 2008, where they even took 450 customers and flogged them outside the shrine.
Wow.
I was on my way out of this country, and then we had to get all our big friends, big celebrities outside this country to write petitions against the government at that time, which is why they opened the shrine. And that was the last raid we had at this shrine at Agidingbi. So where was everybody? So because you don't know about something doesn't mean that we are not fighting. But even to keep a place like the shrine open and make it a protest center, is that not big enough?
That's
and then you are forgetting, I've got my own family to take care of. Touring, keeping the great image of this country alive. Do you know how many tours I've done in my life? If your musicians today are traveling, it's because I've been one of, I will not even say privileged few, but very hardworking musicians. Traveled extensively around the whole world, fighting, saying, not everything about this country is yahoo yahoo or drugs or whatever. We have great minds in this country. So when you see people like Alicia Keys talking today and they become my friends because we have had one-on-one talks and they have seen a different light, not the negativity they have read about Nigerians, but they have spoken to a Nigerian and they are seeing frankness, honesty. So there are some Nigerians like you, are not some, a lot of Nigerians are like me.
Yeah. That is why when we keep making the case for government support for the entertainment industry, because the entertainers, if you ask me, are the true ambassadors of this country.
I would not even agree. I'm sorry I have to always disagree with you.
Okay, please disagree.
But if there were no farmers, then we are the entertainers. We need food. So government must support farmers. If there was no good health care, we will all die. Yeah. So government must just do its job. So it's not about entertainment. I think even music and entertainment is the last sector that government should face. There are more important sectors government must face.
I may not totally agree with you, but out of respect, I will not also want to argue with you.
No, you have to.
Because there are too many things I would like to ask you, and once I go into an argument, I'm going to miss out on some of them.
No, you will not. You can. I would like.
Because as somebody who is a
what is more important than farming?
What is more important than
farming? If you don't have food, you will not be here today now.
No, it's being alive more important than farming.
What keeps you alive?
I don't know. Is it just food?
Food first now. When you are born. When you are born. When you are born, your mother must give you breast milk or baby milk. Yeah. That is food.
Nutrition is important. Security is also very important.
Food is when you have you cannot even send your army to war without food.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, food, health, security, all these things are important. For what I'm saying is, music is the latter. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
No, okay, fine.
We need music. I agree.
I did not.
But let me buttress your own point.
No, when I made my
point.
Okay.
Without music,
I didn't want to put it in order of priority. I didn't prioritize.
Yes.
I didn't say one was more important than the other. I didn't say that. Yes. You brought in that element. I only said that because the business of these people take them around the world, they are ambassadors. The farmer is very important. Yes. You can never belittle it. Yes. The doctor, the people who provide men in uniform, they are very, very important. Yes. But most times these people are domiciled here at home. There are those whose job means that they interface with the rest of the world. That is why I say they are ambassadors. Yes. So they get the opportunity to either help us tidy up our image a little. Yes. And that is why I singled out entertainers.
I agree. I understand what you're saying.
So that is my point. I put it in
government
proper
should not function on us.
Yeah.
Right now, at this point in time, there are more things that are more important than the entertainment industry, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, right here at home.
Too many people are dying in our hospitals today. Okay. Education does not function properly. There are too many young people just walking around aimlessly. They don't have jobs. That's insecurity, because in a few years' time, they are all going to become problematic for this nation. So there are too many things government must tackle right now before thinking of me. If we are talking about ambassador, okay, I can name about quickly 5 for you. Davido is a good ambassador. Wizkid is a good ambassador. I'm doing well. There are many people already doing well without government help.
Okay, let me go back to the question I was going to ask. Before we came this far, you were talking about your father and talking about how well you know him, and I was going to say, the impression of you knowing Fela very well, and the kind of impression that people have of Fela within the country and even outside. Yes. Put it in proper perspective for us. Let us understand the man that the world knows and loves, and the man that you grew up knowing.
This is a very difficult question, because people have different, some people love him because of what he stood for. Then there are those that don't like him because he liked women.
That number will be few.
No, they pretend. They pretend.
Exactly.
They are hypocrites.
Yeah, exactly.
In quotes. So you have those that will say because he smoked marijuana. You have different, but the general, today, I believe people see him more for his political fight against corruption, injustice, and standing firm and not compromising his integrity or the integrity of his people against negative authorities. So he's more respected and seen globally in this. And I think we as a family, after his passing, have managed to keep this image in the forefront by releasing his back catalogue, making sure the fella play on Broadway. So more positivity. People are seeing him for his ideas more than his personal.
Is there a part of him that we don't still know, that we were
probably
privileged
yes, he wasn't.
to know?
But I don't think it's a secret. But he wasn't the conventional kind of father. Okay. Like for instance, if I use my life, he didn't want me to go to school at all. So growing up, our school fees was 10 naira tuition fee. Yeah. It took us weeks, months. They had to even sometimes call us out. That students that haven't paid their school fees, where are they? Femi Kuti.
For real?
For real. And he was a multi-millionaire this time.
Yeah.
And the school fees was 10 naira. But he was a multi-millionaire. So he did everything in his power to stop
and what would the reason
my
be?
education.
What would the reason be, though?
His reason was he wanted to prove to his brothers and his sister that one did not need education to be successful. Wow. So there was always this big fight. There was always this big fight between my mother, his brothers, and him. And for him not using me as the experimental tool to prove his point.
To push his ideology.
To push his ideology. So because his father made sure he got the best.
Best education.
So they were saying, how do you want your child to be successful? You can read and write music. Yeah. You are not even letting him read or write music. You don't want him to have an education. He's just growing up like, you could say, in quote, area boy on the streets. And by this time I was smoking. I was very, very troublesome young person. I was driving, for instance, a car at the age of 12, taking it to school.
Which was illegal.
Completely legal. So I mean, growing up, when I see my children that of that age, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Man, I was driving at this age. Yeah. And my father was encouraging me. I'll put 2 pillow, drive. I would take the Volvo to school, Range Rover to school. My friends would be hailing me in school, Baptist Academy. I would just drive into the compound. The police, they all knew me. Police were always chasing me. And I'm still trying to get into my father's mind to understand how he was even thinking that he was letting this small rat drive the car. Yeah. Okay, and then when police stops me, you will now say, how can you stop my son? Start fighting. I myself, little me. Say,
Okay. Now, enough of the fight. You know, we can talk about Fela all this show. Yeah. Now, because you are also a father, and you have a son who is also doing well in music. I know Hemani is
6 of them are doing quite well in music.
Okay, imagine that.
Made is finishing this year.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Okay. With all these experiences, what have you gathered from them that you would like to pass on to your son? You know,
what have I gathered from who?
From
my father.
From your experiences.
My experience.
Yeah, going up, getting to this stage.
Honestly, my experiences are unlimited. It's so vast. And I think the good thing about my experience is, because I have taught myself all what I know, I can teach my children with just snapping my finger. So like Made, he learned the sax in like a month. He was ready. At 9, he joined my band and he played with me. But when I saw the music was disturbing him, I now said, no, finish it. Because I said to think of his future. I didn't want him to have the kind of difficulties I had. Now he's going to have the institution backing him. You cannot, even if you don't like his music, it will be very hard for you to criticize him because he will come out. And if you say he's not a good musician, then you are talking to the institution. You are talking to his university in London, the same university Fela apparently went to. Wow. So you are going to be talking to like a professor of music because he can read, he can write, he knows computerized, he's everything.
Lay the foundation for him to be a better musician.
But what he has again is he has my my Kalakuta life at his
street credibility.
Yes, I teach him things that, like he came this day, and what I taught him on the saxophone, it will take him probably 5 years to learn this in the university, and he probably will never get that in the university because there's a curriculum that he must follow, and they will take you bit by bit. Because of the love and the connection I have with him, I can sit him down and say, look him in the eyes and say, my darling son, see, I might pass away tomorrow. I want you to learn all these things right now. And he will quickly catch it like this.
Wow,
so
amazing.
When he came back this time, he was going note for note. If you Google some of his solos with me on the stage, people saw him develop in the 1 month he was here so fast that really he was already overtaking me as a saxophonist.
And that is fantastic. It's been amazing talking to you. We love you in this country. You are a man who in fact, we can't begin to name all your accomplishments. Multiple Grammy nominations. Not
Only
big,
4.
It's multiple now. 4. You can say only. How many other Nigerian musicians have 4 Grammy nominations?
Nobody.
You understand?
Yes, but
4. I think that's still a record, and you can't call that only. And in fact, you've been featured in a video game, Grand Theft Auto 4. So we can't even begin to name all your accomplishments. So I haven't been there, done that. Can you help us be that president? Is there any plan
the constitution will not even allow me.
Why?
Because I didn't go to school. So if they tell me...
You didn't go to school like this?
No.
We have elected people without certificates.
That's what I wanted to tell you. That's what I wanted. Except, you see, but with the person that they forged, or apparently we don't know whether he had or not. I don't, but we said it now. Well, they were saying it now.
Okay, yeah.
Me, they know my history, so they can prove that I didn't go to school. So they will now use the constitution to stop me. And 2, honestly speaking, it's a job that I honestly believe I don't want to do. I just want to be a musician. Do you understand? My passion to be on stage. My father never wanted to be president. Another thing they never knew. He set up this political party, and when they asked him several times, are you going to be president? Yes, he was running, but he was saying deep down him, he doesn't want to run. He wanted his brother, Uncle Beko, to be the president. So he was already contemplating seriously to hand over to Uncle Beko, because it's a job that, first, I will never be able to play music again. And if anybody honestly wants to see to the problem of this country, I mean, it probably will take your life.
Bros, let us allow you play music.
Please.
All right. It's been nice talking to you. Thank you so very much for making our time to talk to us. Amazing. Wonderful interview. All right.